back right here live in WLCN studios for Viewpoint, program with personalities, politicians, and perspectives. We had to have an aborted start this morning because our congressman has a very, very busy schedule and called in on schedule, by the by, Mrs. Busby. You know, we always start with kudos, and I want to jump right in here before we move along. I want to give a kudo to Cynthia Lynn Bounds. She stepped in your absence and mine, did a whale of a job. I think she hit it out of the park, and I just want to publicly acknowledge her participation. I thought you'd sense that you can be very, very proud of your daughter.
Well, by way of disclaimer, I'm just not prejudiced at all, but...
Entitled to some.
But, you know, she is a heck of a person. I am very grateful. I have been blessed with two pretty special darn people.
Yeah, you really have been.
And time spent with them is quality time. Poor Jeff, too, just came in here all discombobulated. He'd hit rush hour in Lincoln, and it was just, well, he was just distraught.
Rush
Poor
hour in
baby.
Lincoln. Well, it's kind of like going to the gym. If you don't get there by 7:30, you get in that high school traffic down Wyatt Avenue, it's going to take a little while. Seriously, we were talking with the congressman about one of the things that we discussed with Aaron was this matter of the money we're spending on illegal aliens. Something that came through the other day, we're spending in excess of $11 billion on welfare to illegal aliens. 11B with a billion. 22 billion spent on foods, free schools for illegal aliens. That's just the beginning here. Medicaid for illegal aliens costs $12 billion. Primary and secondary education for children here illegally, and they cannot speak a word of English. That's the key to that. Illegally. If they're here illegally, that's great. Just $17 billion a year spent for that. These are all verifiable sites on the internet. Education for American-born children of illegal aliens, only $3 million. It goes on and on and on.
Well, yeah, now we're back to the famous quote about $1 million billion here, $1 million billion there, and pretty soon you're talking about real money.
Yeah, old Ev Dirksen came up with that years ago, and just think what that was all about.
Pardon me, please, and thank you.
Yeah. Well,
hey, do you know what today would be? My dear old dad's 25th birthday.
Times 100.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Ken would be 100 years old.
Ken would be 100. Yep, his 25th. Yeah, he swears he was a leap year baby, but you know the record keeping back then was a little suspect. He also, my grandma, his mom, was a midwife, and my grandpa was her anesthetist.
Really?
Honest to Pete. And
would they use a hammer?
It was just, and you know, they never lost a patient. But at any rate, he said that when they would weigh a baby, you know, people used to routinely have 12, 14-ounce pound babies, you know. But my dad said that the weighing of the child was done by putting it in a dish towel and saying, oh, heck, that's a good 12-pounder. Because then the mother was real proud. She had that nice, big, bouncing child.
Bouncing big baby.
So I don't know. Maybe they were all 7-pounders like they are today. I don't know.
Have you been watching Fox to watch Charles Krauthammer?
No, I haven't. But, you know, I admire him a lot.
He's a very erudite, low-key, but golly, he's smart.
Oh,
and,
but think of
he has great perceptive powers, and I enjoy listening to him.
Well, and the fact that he is and does, to me, is a miracle to begin with.
Well, yes, being permanently paralyzed from the neck down, doctor and a lawyer, at some point in time that he had a speech that he gave to a think tank not too long ago, and a person was there and made notes and recapped it, and this is getting to be kind of a political program. Somebody might want to call in and argue with us. You know, this is the media.
We could talk about the weather.
This is the media, and we have to offer free time, although we may not agree, but we still have to offer it. Krauthammer says that Obama seems to be ruthless in his quest for power. And that's among many other summations that he had to make. So somebody fight with me about that. I'm not sure that everybody would agree with that. So we're glad to have our congressman weigh in with us this morning. We had to hurry it. It was a kind of a rump session, so to speak. But he was kind enough to give us 25 minutes before he rushed off to our hearing.
Well, I was glad I got my list in early on, because I did have things I wanted to ask him about. Doggone it. It seems that they're so much farther removed, they being Washington power brokers, are so much farther removed from us than I can remember them being in a long time. I feel like we're just kind of crying in the wilderness, if you will. You know, we say, hey, I went to the gas station, was very sad, you know, or, hey, I got people here in my family who don't have jobs. It's pretty sad.
Well,
they're out there busy doing whatever you
they're
do.
removed from reality. That's
posing
what they're
for
removed
magazine
from.
covers.
By the way, Mr. Ash, did you note that I deferred to the 51% over viewpoint this morning because Lou Snutz, our roving reporter out there in Arizona, indicated that perhaps I talked too much and should let Mrs. Busby have a chance to expound her thoughts. So for Lou Snutz's benefit, and he will see this later in the day, I deferred to your wishes there, sir. And,
well, now, since you're deferring to him, do we now refer to him as Google?
No, he's not the Google, but he has a term for Google. Jim, you always know these certain people who just seem to know everything. And Jack came up with a little sobriquet for them. It's called Google. And I said, what's that? And he said, well, they know every damn thing there is to know. So in deference to Lou Snutz, we will kind of watch for our Googles here. By the way, another roving reporter from La Crosse, Wisconsin, Lois Harvey, sent you a note, which we appreciated very much. And I thought that was very nice.
That was very. She sent me a get well wish, having run over myself. She was feeling sorry for me, but
it wasn't easy, was it?
I got a call from a good friend in Florida, and he said not to worry, that he'd called the high school and signed me up for driver's ed.
I hope this summer, so I'll be out of town. Well, did you have anything else? I know we have lots on our list to do, a big laundry list, but I need to defer, remembering Mr. Snutz's admonition to me, defer to you and give you all the time that you would require.
I don't require a whole bunch, not a whole bunch. But it's good to have you back. I know you had a good time on your visit out there to Surprise.
Yes, it was very nice.
Everybody I know is going someplace exotic. I'm just darn lucky I got to go to Florida, and I mean that, seriously.
And speaking, we've been talking about politics this morning, haven't we?
It sure looks like it.
My seatmate going down to Surprise was a former state senator from up around Ottawa, and in fact was the owner of Double D Trucking. We've seen their trucks run up and down the highway here. He sold that to the employees. He served 2 terms, I believe, and he got the heck out of there. He said he was up beyond his eyeballs with all the machinations and the hypocrisy to which Aaron Schock referred earlier this morning, and he only served 2 terms. And Gary Dahl was his name, Senator Gary Dahl, and he was living down in just below Surprise at certainly down there in Arizona.
Another town.
The old I forgot again.
Not a problem.
And I had another little episode come up. I went to the Royal Arabian Horse Show down there. That's a big deal, really a big deal. Think state fairgrounds as far as the size and capacity and so forth. And they had thousands of horses there, just gorgeous animals, of course. And I purposely wore a Lincoln College shirt, that purple shirt that says Lincoln College on it. And I'm standing looking at this exhibit of bronze statuary, which is ungodly expensive, you know, and was admiring it and looking at it. And a guy came up and said, I graduated from there in 1967. And and the point of my story, the whole is, he talked about how it had been so successful for him to be here those 2 years, and then he gave us the Lincoln College mantra. If it hadn't been for Lincoln College, I wouldn't have made the success I am today. Boy, we were glad to hear that.
Oh, sure.
And so we had a short visit, but then Jack, they wanted to move on, so I had to leave. His wife was an artist of some renown, equine artist, and drawing all sorts of wonderful pictures of horses and so forth, an art form that I do not understand, but can appreciate the talent that it takes. But anyway, that was a nice little sideline to bump into somebody who had been here and graduated from 1967 and told us a story, which I promptly related to the authorities at Lincoln College and the development office so that they could be sure and work on that.
I think that there are so many things here in this area that make me so darn glad that 46 years ago we ended up moving here, because Roger Mitchell, who you will remember fondly, had said to Buzz, where was he going to live? Where was he going to move his family? And Buzz said, well, he didn't really know, just here in central Illinois. And Roger said, well, you have to move to Lincoln. There just wouldn't be any better answer. And so we did, and I say thank you, God. And I'd like to say that, now this is a personal thing, but if you just bear with me, I have 3 friends which is very lucky.
2 more than I have.
Yes, I have 3 friends. Now, I'm having the church coffee on Saturday morning. Now, you realize that this past month at my house has been not the finest in my memory, okay?
I'd say pretty stressful.
Yeah. So then they said not to problem. They're coming over Friday to help me clean, and they will make all of the things I have to serve Saturday morning, and they will take care of it all. I shouldn't worry about it. Where else in this known world do you suppose you're going to find people who are that darn thoughtful? It boggles my mind. It humbles me, and it makes me feel guilty. But that is my long suit, the gift that keeps on giving.
Guilty?
Yes. Yeah,
well,
it is.
It is very bad, and that's typical of a small community.
But is that lucky or not?
Well, that's a small community for you.
Yeah.
People digging in where they see a need.
Yeah.
That's a neat thing. That's very, very neat. So, thanks to them for doing that. The thing that worried me, Mrs. Busby and Mr. Ash, is that we're espousing all the one side here, and it cannot be that everybody in Golden County is Republican.
No,
I know. As a matter of fact, I have some good friends who, unfortunately, have taken the opposite tack. And
I, too, have that.
Recognizes that they, too, have great qualities.
I love them to death.
So, but I'm concerned. We didn't get anybody to call in and tell us how wrong we are in expressing our views. And
it raises
but
my
take that,
blood
don't
pressure.
take that for value, because they're out there. They just don't want to tell you because they don't want to fight with you.
I'm ready to do battle. When I get to talking politics from here or politics from there, it just raises my blood pressure. Now, normally I have just gravity flow. Pressure is not any issue at all. But boy, I tell you, I just do get head up thinking about my kids, my grandkids, my great-grandkids. What kind of a world are we going to give them?
Seriously.
Honest to God, I'm scared.
Well, I had fortune to have both parents who advised me don't ever argue religion and politics with your friends, and that's just an axiom that should, and it's a truism, certainly. Yes. We can respect them for their views, and that's that. But I'm terribly concerned. I'm especially concerned about this Iraq and Afghanistan situation. Iraq's going to come unrailed, just as sure as I sit here, and they don't want us. They don't want our form of government in Afghanistan. And I know we're concerned about turning it over to the Taliban and all of that business. It's so complex that it's awfully difficult for us to sit here in the cornfield here in Atlanta, Illinois, and discuss such matters of such depth, and about which we really truly know nothing.
Come before you to stand behind you to tell you something
problem.
I know nothing
We just have
about.
innate feelings, but we can't go around the world trying to impose our way of government on other people. That's the way they've grown up for millenniums, and I don't want to go any further.
Did you scare yourself?
Yeah, I started to get wound up there. No, we can't do that. We're coming to the end of Viewpoint, so I want to do that.
We sure. And you're much better about that. Last week, in your absence, I ran over 12 minutes, so of course immediately I threw Jim under the bus.
Well,
I said, Jim, you're the manager and staff. Why did you let us do that?
I get out of here and things went to hell in a handbaskets, I guess.
You got it right.
Well, we appreciate very much, again, since filling in for us, we appreciate the congressman giving of his time this morning. That's part of his job, to stay in touch with his constituency. Who do we have on next week?
Oh, I know. You want me to tell you?
Yes, let's find out, and then we'll sign off.
Would you be
Viewpoint.
interested in that? Mm-hmm. Okay, I will tell you. Next week we go into a new month yet again.
Yes.
Mike Maniscalco.
Oh.
And we're going to talk about this utility aggregation. That is an issue that will be appearing on your ballots, and he's going to tell us something we know nothing about.
That's so complex, most of us can't spell aggregation.
That's right.
So we'll sign off Viewpoint with, again, with the little thing that we try to find for each program. We had politicians here today, and we talked a little bit about politics. Many a politician who's been appointed act as if he has been anointed. Thank you for Viewpoint.